Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Clone Evolution. And I forgot to change the title for the episode today. It was still listed as 6, so I'll change it to part 7. I know it's not exactly right for the numbers either, but doing my best to get them right. Hey, what's up Q's here? He had a message retracted. He put hello. Yeah, welcome back everyone. Did everyone have a good day today? Today was a bit of an adventure for me, boy. I had my first work shift in a while, doing some snow removal stuff, so I had to wake up at 4 a.m. I had to train a new employee. Training new employees is always irritating, but the guy seemed pretty good, so it wasn't that bad. But then when I got home from work, I was taking my uncle to the washroom. And he'd been seeming a little bit rough the past few days. And today he just collapsed completely and started going into convulsions, so we had to call an ambulance. It was pretty fucked up. But when they got him to the hospital, they ran tests on him. They couldn't find anything wrong with him other than he had a really bad lung infection. So they gave him the test and now he's back home. But he's always had bad lung infections, so that's nothing really out of the ordinary, but hopefully the test comes back negative. Yeah, and the hospital is relatively empty, so that was a good sign. You can tell the stress of the virus is getting to some of the employees, but a lot of them are really young, and they're handling it well. I was surprised, like the average doctor and nurse and ambulance worker you meet is like in their early 20s, maybe 30s. A lot of young people keeping the world afloat. Hey, flowers already from Suki. And someone else got me the big flowers today. I cannot see who. It says just one when I check. Alright, what is going on? Can I send my friends flowers or not? I don't know, I guess I must have did the send button already and that's why that option isn't there. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit out of it today. Or maybe it's some sort of new thing and there's no send all buttons anymore. Let's see, what is it here? Did it say I sent any flowers? No, oh yeah, it says I did. Oh, it says my tasks haven't reset over new for the day yet. You gotta be shitting me. How do I reset that? Do I have to refresh the game? Is that the only way? I thought it would just all reset automatically. I only got it to boot 1 extra minute in advance. Yeah, I gotta restart the game. Alright, sorry guys, I'll have to restart the game. Try to be right back as quick as possible. In the meantime, I guess I'll do the Bitcoin thing. See how that's been doing. I don't know if anyone heard the news, but Bitcoin has been doing better. What did it reach? 18,000 US for 1 Bitcoin today. Right, I cannot even control anything in the game. It's not a good sign. There we go. Now the game's responding. Yeah. No, I think what happened was it just loaded the game a couple minutes too early. I was trying to time it so that it would be loaded right as it refreshed. I must have did it a little bit too soon. Finished it too quick. Yeah, so that was a little bit scary, having to get my uncle out of the house in an ambulance, but no, the workers, even though they were kids, like young people moving them, they did a really good job. With 3 of them, they were at least able to do as good as me. I was a bit worried because they all looked a little bit on the scrawny side, so I was like, holy shit, how are they going to move my uncle? But they had this cool system where it was like a dolly, and they put him on the dolly and a chair, and they strap him to it, and then they have a lot better handles to move him because they have a dolly, and they can wheel him up and down the stairs. So that worked out good. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I got a drink ready for the show, and I don't see it anywhere here. Fuck. Yeah, I'm just not having luck today. No, it's not the end of the world though, so at least they tested my uncle at the hospital and his heart and everything came back good. That was a bit concerning because, man, when he collapsed to the ground, his whole face turned so pale and white that I thought he was dead for sure. Like, normally you don't see someone change color like that until they're dead, right? So yeah, but as soon as he was able to breathe good again and his color came back, then he was starting to like, alright, maybe he's going to recover. Yeah, it's nice to have him back from the hospital too. I don't know, with a chronic lung infection, hospital is probably not the greatest place these days to be hanging out. Right, did anyone hear the big PlayStation 5 news? Apparently a whole bunch of people's PlayStation 5s have already broke. And apparently there's some sort of bug or something that's breaking them. I was like, can you imagine? That's what I was worried about when the PS5 was coming out. I'm like, have they really tested this thing much? Seems like they kind of rushed it. Who knows? Maybe they did beta testing for a long time. We just never heard about it. No, we ended up moving my uncle straight to bed, so at least I don't have to stop the recording. Once it loads, we should be good to go. Sometimes I don't put it on full screen yet because it'll go black like that. There we go. Now I was thinking it's kind of a neat strategy that Canada has dealing with the virus right now. If you get going into the hospital with the ambulance and you have symptoms of the virus, they give you the test and they just send you home. So I was like, that's kind of an interesting way to work it. I always thought you'd stay at the hospital until you got the test, or I don't know. And guess I wasn't sure how they were doing it. It's a good way to keep the hospitals empty. Now it's good to see the system they have when you got to the hospital. They're happy that you wore a mask, but they're like, hey, switch with this mask. And they give you a hospital approved mask when you come to visit the hospital. So which I think it's a good idea, because some of the masks people make at home really aren't really up to that standard, right? So I don't know, personally I think the masks are kind of weird in a way, because breathing in small particles of viruses is how we build natural immunity without getting sick. So if we all of a sudden start wearing masks all the time, we're going to be hindering our main defense against viruses, but maybe it's for the best. Alright, looks like it's almost loaded. Alright, game is back. Woo! Oh, I didn't even do the Bitcoin thing the whole time while we were gone. Guess I'll wait in case it crashes again. No, so I think what I'm going to do in the future is we're going to rig up a dolly and chair, or maybe buy one from Amazon, so that I have the same kind that the ambulance people use to get people up and down stairs. Very good invention. Yeah, yesterday was such good luck with those, what is it, the card draw, right? Managed to get Arena Girl. Can't remember, who was the other person I got with Arena Girl? Was it a good one too? Too bad it wasn't Hitler. So we need is Hitler to save us. Speaking of Hitler, no, I'm just kidding. Whoops. Can't be sending a rose to everyone or else I'll go broke. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, back in my day, we used to buy drugs from gangs. But I was just thinking that, like a whole generation of kids, right? Like, back in our day, it's like, oh, the boss. Yeah, we should do that first. And I was thinking in high school, all the kids would, well, not all the kids, all the bad kids would pool all their lunch money together or bus money, whatever money they could get. And they would spend the whole day, sometimes like day after day after day, just trying to find someone that they could buy a joint from with all the money that they'd scraped together. And sometimes that's what you'd spend the whole day trying to do, like every day for weeks and weeks. Years even. It's like nowadays, man, you don't even have to look. You can just get it from the government. Save all that time. But yeah, it's the boss. That's what I was going for. Oh yeah, we already did him. I just did him recently. Unless there was another boss I'm forgetting. Let's see, is there event center one? No. Limited event, what do we got? Was there anything new added? Not yet, right? Someone was bitching on the Facebook group that they maintenance windows. It's like, come on, they have to give the game some maintenance. Even the creator said he had to rest every 7 days and working on ours. Yeah, let's do a little bit more. How many we got? We only got 24 hours. So let's get the 4 red scrolls. What the fuck? Might as well live a little. I want those 4 red scrolls. Ah, no purples that draw. That one sucked. Ah, purple Budokai. That was pretty good, but Hitler would have been nice. Let's see, was that enough for it? Oh, 4 more. So we'll just do 1 more 10 draw. Alright, let's hope for Hitler. Come on, Hitler. Better not yell that too loud. Neighbors will be wondering what the hell's going on over here. Oh, the bounty hunter tonight will be coming. Oh, that'll be sweet. Alright, we'll collect the pass card rewards and we'll go for the red scroll rewards. There it is. Alright, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to go crazy trying to get Santa Claus and this guy. I don't really have any use for them. So I'll just save the gene bank for the next big one. Let's see how many we're looking at for red squirrels now. I'm at 42 red squirrels. That's a decent amount, I think, right? Not decent enough to do anything with them yet, but next round, maybe we'll have more brown saved by then. No, it's good. I kind of got over my fear today of seeing other people die. Like, I don't know, when I took first aid class and started to be around old people that needed CPR, I noticed that I started to panic a lot. I know, like they always say, not everyone's cut out to be a doctor, because like if you're going to be panicking, you're not going to be a good doctor. So yeah, even though I thought my uncle was dying today, at least I didn't go into panic mode. The only thing I noticed is I got the weak legs thing. I don't know if you ever get so nervous that you get weak legs. It's like all of a sudden I was having trouble making it up flights of stairs. I was like, what the fuck? So I don't know, maybe I'll have to go for the virus test too, but we'll see how my uncle's comes back. No, I almost didn't think I was going to be able to record today because I was breaking down just thinking about it, but after picking him up from the hospital and he seems better, it's like, at least now it's not as panic inducing. Alright, YouTube's funny. It's like either it'll complain on OBS and say that it's running slow, or then I'll check YouTube and it'll say it's running slow, but usually it'll never say it both for at the same time. It's always either one or the other's going slow. Man, I wish I had a show producer. Maybe one day. Alright, I guess we'll have to go for the easy battle. I don't see anything that looks beatable for me. Really should switch over some of the armor because guys I'm not even using have all the best everything. And I'm clicking start and it's not doing anything. Now even my some other people I know weren't feeling good this week, so they went in for the tests. So who knows? Maybe it is actually starting to get more common. It was reassuring to go to the hospital and see how empty it was. Like, I've gone to the hospital during just regular times when there is no pandemics, and our hospitals are usually overflowing with people. Like people dying in the hallway waiting room. So it's like, to see it not overflowing is almost ridiculous. It's like a ghost town compared to what it used to be. But I guess that is a good thing, right? You don't want the hospitals to be overflowing. Now, I was wondering if they were going to do that with hospital workers. Switch everyone to a lot younger people when they're hiring, so there's not as many high-risk people working in the field. And then today, I noticed a lot of the nurses and everyone, they were all very young people. So maybe they did switch over. Yeah, what's up Q is saying he's going to create a random purple right now. Yeah, I make a lot of random purples too. He hopes he gets Julius Caesar. Oh, Suki just cloned another Lubu. That's awesome. Excuse me. Yeah, I guess I probably never told you guys who ended up showing up at my house late at night last night. Here I was supposed to be going to bed early because I had to start work or wake up for work at 4 in the morning. But I couldn't fall asleep, so I was playing on the computer. And then it's around 11 o'clock at night. I get a phone call. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's calling at 11 o'clock? So I checked the identicall, and it's a local number. So I'm like, alright, it should be someone I should answer because it's local. So I answered the phone, and it's this random guy that I've never heard before. And he's like, I'm at your front door. I'm like, what the fuck? Who are you? Why are you at my front door? He's like, he's the delivery guy. He's like, he has a package. He's like, come to the front door. So I'm like, 11 o'clock at night, a package delivery, and they're calling me? What the fuck is this? Never had that before. So I looked out the window, and it was a legit delivery truck. And then I opened it, and it was the government delivery service, and they were delivering my weed. Stuff, the new weed that I ordered from the government. I wanted to compare it to the stuff I grew to see how better or worse it was. Another young guy, too. It was funny because he was wearing the mask, and I was thinking, should I wear my mask? But I was like, I can't wear the mask because I have to show him my ID. If I show him my ID, I have to take the mask off. I was like, I was almost going to do it for a joke. It's like, show him my ID and leave the mask on. Like, do you think that's me? Now, apparently this delivery company likes to deliver at night. So I was like, wow, that's different. I don't know, it almost makes you paranoid to open the door late at night to like someone you've never met before and they're just banging on the door. UK sucks. Why? Is that because of the lockdown situation now, eh? Now I heard they were going through worse ones and we're supposed to go through worse ones. I don't know, with winter I don't fear the lockdowns as much because normally in Canada in the winter it's very rare to go out and do anything anyways. I guess some people still go to restaurants and stuff, but I'm too cheap for that. Now I think that's what I gotta do. Once the lockdown's over, I gotta make sure I splurge and go out to eat places more often. Because now I've learned that they can all be taken away. Should never take them for granted. Oh, he means that the government still doesn't sell weed. You have to still go to the drugs or the gangs to get them. Yeah, buying the government from the weed, or weed from the government does seem so weird. It's like the opposite. Now I was saying at last show, I can't remember if it was this game or the other game, that the government's strongest weed they sell on their website is called MK Ultra. And MK Ultra was the name of the government program where they got caught drugging the people with LSD. One of the strongest drugs are known to exist. Now I thought it was so rare that it happened to, and then I found out someone I knew actually had their mother in one of those programs where they took them to a hospital in Montreal because their mother was having migraines, and they got her in on that MK Ultra mind control program started testing drugs on her. It's like, what the fuck? Can't believe the Canadian government would do that. And then for years later, they name a strain of weed after it and sell it to people. Now, in a way, I kind of miss the old days, because when you had to buy it from gangs, it was exciting. It's like you can just go to the store, there's not much excitement in that. Yeah, the MK Ultra was LSD experiments. The drug invented by the German professor, what was his name, Hoffenheimer or something like that. Now, I like some of the results they got from the experiments. They learned that LSD can overclock people's reflexes. That's how one of the MLB baseball players threw the first perfect game in baseball. He did it while he was on LSD. What was his name? Doc something. Just type into Google perfect game LSD and you'll find it. Now, I noticed the reflex thing too when I was playing hacky sack. It's like when I tried LSD, after years and years of playing hacky sack, I could never hit it more than 2 or 3 times. I tried the overclocking the reflexes thing with LSD, and man, I was able to hit it over 200 times. So it wasn't even close. It does kind of feel like cheating. I'm surprised more athletes don't do it, or maybe they do. Because really, you could overclock your reflexes, and then all of a sudden, once the drugs wear off and are out of your system, you can pass the drug test, but your reflexes are still overclocked. The muscle memory. When I watched Kobe Bryant do that 80-point game, I kind of wondered if maybe he used it once. Because his reflexes did seem a little bit overclocked. He's making shots like crazy. No, they said the military was trying to get the snipers to do it, but it was never consistent results. Some people get overclocked and other people just get so hammered they couldn't hit anything. It's one of those drugs that doesn't affect everyone the same way. Right? Whoa, for a second I thought he was dead already. Yeah, I'll try to find out the name of the Montreal hospital. But I'm pretty sure they even had to pay out lawsuit money to some families once they found out they were used for tests like that. Can you imagine going to a hospital for migraines and they gave you LSD and sent you home? Be like, man, I want to go back to the hospital. No, in my city, when I grew up, LSD was so popular you could find it for sale on every street corner. But once MDMA, or what was it called, Molly or ecstasy, became a street drug, then all of a sudden LSD vanished. Which sucked, because I never liked Molly and never tried it. And I just switched to weed only. Which is probably for the best anyways. You don't want to be doing illegal stuff. Yeah, you ever see some people do wild stuff on trips? Remember this one guy? He used to do, oh yeah, I've got maybe 5-6 stories just from one guy. one time we were out in the woods. What we like to do is we like to take hallucinogens, or someone would spike us with them unknowingly. And then walk out in the woods. And a few times we would do it in the winter. So the one guy came with us and he's like, man, these hallucinogens are kicking in so much that he doesn't feel any pain in his body. So he's like, I don't even need my winter jacket anymore. He's just going to walk and hike with us in the woods in his t-shirt. And then me and a few other people refused. We're like, man, it's not going to be a good scene once you get frostbite. So trust us that you can feel pain. Your body's just not telling you it right now. It'll tell you tomorrow. So wait and just wear the jacket. It was nice too, because he argued with us a bit at first, but then once he sobered up, he's like, holy shit, I am starting to feel cold. Thanks, guys. So you gotta be careful with hallucinations. Not feeling pain isn't always the greatest. Pain's warning signals. Oh, hey, Joe. Yeah, that's a weird thing with the laws with seeds. Sometimes even the seeds are legal until they hit the soil, then they become illegal. I think they had some law with that with the mushrooms too, where magic mushrooms are legal up until you pick them, or something like that. So it's like you can have magic mushrooms growing all over the place, but as long as you don't pick them, they're still legal. Guess I have to bring in Crime Fighter now. No, I kind of miss the days when weed was illegal too, because having too much of it is kind of a hassle. At least when it's harder to get and it costs more, you're not over tempted to just do it all the time. Like, I don't know, the first year Canadians were allowed to grow weed, the price was pretty stable, still around $8 to $10 a gram. But now that it's the second year that it's been legal, even the government prices with high quality stuff are down to like $3 a gram. So you're looking at anyone who's growing it at home is probably paying upwards of maybe like 20 to 25 cents a gram. That's how much everyone can just grow at home. So once it hits to like 25 cents a gram, it's like you can just smoke it non-stop and there's no real ever worry about financial consequences of it costing too much. It seems like a good thing in principle. Should I do the exchange for Dante Matsusami? I want to make Suzo for AG DNA, but I only have one date guy right now. Oh yeah, that Dante guy. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know, maybe Suki knows the answer to that one. Holy, this battle's going intense. Half my team's dead. Another half is surviving. We will survive! There we go, Sword God's gone. Now I was just wondering a similar question too. There's that exchange thing going and I have exchange tickets and Dante's really rare for him. Yeah, I can't remember how many. I think I have 2 or 3 copies of him, so he is somewhat rare. I don't know, I find once you spend the money like with the tokens or use the exchange ticket, as soon as you do, that's who the game will give you the next draw. So it's like that next purple draw you do, you're going to be like, oh fuck, I used it, and then they just gave it to me. I don't know if that's maybe the way the program of the universe likes it programmed, so that he can just spite you. See if that happens. When you do the exchange, remember, and see if it's the next person they give you in the purple draw. Maybe it's like a trigger. The game's like, oh, that's who he needs. And then they start giving them to you. Well, you really get to see who's the strong fighters on my team, right? This core 4, they can take a beating. Yeah, good luck with the exchange. Hopefully it's how you envision it. Now I was checking the tracking number for my package for Turkey, because I've been envisioning that book arriving, and it's already left Turkey. It left today. So can you imagine it could be in Canada within a... Well, how long does it take to fly from Turkey? Fuck, I'll check at the end of the show. Maybe it'll have already arrived. And then it's just a matter of time before when it arrives in Toronto to how long they ship it to me. And I'm only an hour away from Toronto. So maybe it will arrive soon. And I'm starting to wonder if I've been anticipating this book for so long that I've hyped it up a little bit too much. And no matter how good it is, it's never going to live up to my expectations. But only time will tell. Maybe it really will kick ass. I find it hard to believe they could live up to my expectations, but you never know. Now, I shouldn't have been making fun of Turkey's shipping. It seems like their tracking is just as advanced as ours, if not more so. I had a feeling, because I'm like, man, I've always heard Turkey's pretty advanced. It's like the most advanced airport around, isn't it? Where all the cheapest flights come in and out. Was it Istanbul? Whoa, 2 likes already. Thanks, guys. I like watching the live streams because it's like, man, I get to see the likes and instant gratification. The dopamine. Holy. This is the gold battle and we actually took out some players. Come on, heal. Yeah. Heal. Yeah. It's fucking Robin. She's probably the one killing me. Or this red hero. Yeah, Horus. That's who that is. Alright, I could try a skip. It's probably my only chance to win it now. No! Sometimes the skip pulls it off for me, but not that time. See what we're looking at for a backup team. I don't think there's any backup team chance. 2 people? No. The only person we killed in their team was the one Budokai. Which is a shame. If we could have took maybe 2 or 3 of them out, maybe our backup team would have had a chance. But we got a free refresh. That's good. Right, before we do that, we'll do a quick message from the sponsor. Today's horrific adventures were brought to you by Crack. Crack, it'll fuck you up. Woo! Alright, welcome back everyone. Let's get this mission battle underway. Lost the mouse. There it is. Yeah, it was pretty horrific. I hope I don't have to go back to the hospital again soon. But at least it's helping me get over my fear of the hospital. Going there and seeing it's not that bad. Man, the hospital I was at, they've already had one outbreak of the virus before. They managed to keep it under wraps or got it back under control. Right, so which hero did I really want to bring? Yeah, we're going into a high attack mode. Less healers, more attackers. There we go. That should be some action. Horus, the stun king. Is he the king of stun, huh? I didn't even know that. Now, I used to research the different symbols of Egypt and different cultures for my ancient mystery stuff. I always get the Horus one mixed up. What's the other eye symbol? Or is there two eye ones? Yeah, I think. Eye of Ra and Eye of Horus. Is that the two? Yeah, so this ghost train haze from the government, I don't know if I told you guys, but whoa, what a weird fucking shipment. When I got the half quarter, it's supposed to be 3.5 grams. Yeah, Horus, Sekhmet are from Egypt, also Tutankhamun. You know that weird Tuta part of names? I didn't even realize it, but I was researching ancient Irish history called the LGE. They have a mythical race of people that came from the Middle East area. Well, some people don't know where they came from. I think it's pretty obvious they came from that region. But anyways, yeah, they called them the two-headed Donin. And I was like, oh, so that's where that toot part is even part of like ancient Irish history. And they talked about how their different princesses and stuff were getting married in Egypt. So that's how I was like, man, when they started finding the red-haired mummies in Egypt, I was like, where was all that connecting to? Then you start hearing the language thing. Like, well, shit, if the whole people was called Toot to something. Maybe that little clue got erased from history, because unless you're speaking Old Irish, you're not going to notice the connections, or researching their history. Maybe that's where the whole Irish or Celtic Freemasonry stuff comes in. That's I like the symbolism for ancient games. When I was doing the conventions in Toronto, I almost got hired to work on a crew to make video games because they wanted someone to do the theming for ancient mystery stuff. And they said they wanted it to be more wild than the traditional history. So they're willing to have like open theories and stuff. I was like, holy shit, I really should have took that job. Now at the time I was overworked at the time and I just didn't want to fit it into my schedule. And then I was like, holy shit, I really should have made time for that. And just switched other jobs. Yeah, I've heard stories about the Library of Alexandria. It was apparently a great archive that was burned. And some people debate that there was actually a whole bunch of archives and it was a time period where they were all being burned and that got labeled as one fire. Yeah, I was looking into the history of why that was. Like the whole winged disc symbol that you see on the intro screens of my show. Is that was like the winged disc pagan or ancient old school monotheistic religion. And it had a lot of this occult secrets that they didn't want passed on to future generations. So the Bible talks about it all the time, is they had to wipe it out, and not only wipe it out, but erase all the history of it too. And they nearly succeeded for a long time. Like Sumerian stuff was lost completely for quite a while. It wasn't until modern times that we started to find the tablets and decipher them. And the main reason why is because they were into that human cannibalism stuff to extend life for thousands of years. And I don't know if it was world governments or if it actually was religion, but at one point they're like, hey, they don't want people living for thousands of years, and it's a good reason to stop people from doing it because it's not very ethical either. Yeah, and it's kind of weird that that whole fucking, what is it, baby stem cell research is basically along the same lines of it. Hey, Vector. Sorry, we got some disgusting topics going. Gotten into the human cannibalism. Now, a lot of the ancient mystery stuff is a little bit too much to get into, so it's nice taking breaks from doing it for a while. If only more positive things happened in the past. The Achaemenid Empire was pretty cool. I wish they would make movies about it. Now I realized that the ancient Magi religion, or the one with the winged disc, was the same. It's because they had the fire temples. And the Bible always talked about wiping out the people that worshipped at fire temples. Oh, and the other thing too is they're like, oh, this pagan religion that makes the golden calf statues. Well, the golden calf is part of the ancient Magi stuff too. That's the symbolism of the giant elf, or the elf, or ox. The symbolism of the stars in the sky that showed the immortality ritual. Yeah, so once you realize that, you're like, hey, wait a minute. That's two big ones that are checks off on that list. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll pass on the human flesh no matter how long you can live. It's like, no thanks. Now, I thought it was all bullshit, then I started to talk to some people that actually hung out with human cannibals. Ironically, I was working with a guy who is the kid of missionaries from Papua New Guinea. So he said he actually grew up with and hung out with a whole tribe of cannibals. Or former cannibals, I guess. They had recently stopped doing it. And they said the whole reasoning behind it is the tribe figured out that whoever they ate, they would inherit the traits and knowledge of that person, not just the longer life. So if someone was the best athlete in the village, they would eat them. Or if they were the smartest person in the village, they would eat them. Oh, it's pretty nasty. So that's probably why the Bible is like, hey, we could wipe all this knowledge out. People are like, yeah, I think we should wipe that knowledge out. It's pretty fucked up knowledge. I don't see too many people jumping for joy to keep that knowledge around. Just my show. Nasty. I used to be crazy about eating bacon, but even that I try to cut back on now. Meat isn't as great as it sounds. It's more about balance, right? Trying to eat some plants. Plants! Alright, Budokai is almost dead. His team needs more healing. I don't know if he's fast enough to heal her. Let's hope. Yeah, so it's weird to think the human cannibals weren't doing it just because they were starving to death, right? I never knew that. I was thinking even if I was starving, I'd rather eat worms in the ground or something. Eat roots. Eat tree bark. Even that would be better. Oh. Now I found that out about if you're ever starving in Canada and you're lost in the woods somewhere, you can actually survive just by eating tree bark. Because a lot of the trees we have around are, what do they call them, birch? And you can peel the birch bark off pretty easily and you can just eat it. So it's high in a bunch of vitamins. Tastes like fucking cardboard, but it's better than starving to death. Obviously you can't live on tree bark for very long, but it's enough to give your body some strength to keep going. To make it to the rescue team. That's probably why Canadian animals can survive the winter not too bad. If they can just eat any tree bark. Not that I'm offering survival advice. Probably have to clarify that on YouTube too. Just my opinion. Now what I used to do too is try different ways to find and collect water if you're trapped in the wilderness somewhere. The one trip I was actually camping on the top of a holy mountain and I ran out of water. And I was thinking about collecting from a water spring or collecting snow from the top. So I tried the snow method, boiled it. Nah, I was thinking about tapping a maple tree because that's one of the methods they say if you're ever trapped in the woods somewhere and you need water really bad, you can try tapping a tree. Yeah, got the gold chest. 5 frags. That was sweet. But the problem with tapping trees is you can only do it certain times a year. I think, what is it, springtime is when it works best? So once it gets to a certain time of the year, there's nothing left to tap. So every time I've tried it, it's always been the wrong time. But I have a whole tree tapping kit and everything. So if it ever came down to having to tap trees for survival, I could pull it off for a while. Alright, we got 9750. That's not bad. We're almost, 103 away from the next big draw. Or no, 53 away. Now, I used to take scouts classes when I was a kid. They would teach you some survival stuff too. Now, one year we were doing our, what is it, fall camping badge. We were supposed to go and camp in the fall, outside. Like outdoors, without tents. Just a 3-walled shelter. So we were staying in this 3-wall shelter, and the temperature dropped to like -20 and snow everywhere. So they ended up giving us our winter camping badge at the same time. Now when we woke up and checked our camping supplies, everything had frozen solid, like it was in the freezer. Bottles of ketchup, everything froze to rock solid. So we're like, what the fuck? We needed to put our supplies in a cooler to keep it warm. Alright, so which part should I do next? Oh shit, we're almost at the end of the show. Did I do the guild instances? We'll give it a chance. Holy, one suppressed already. Now, the reason that most people tap maple trees is because maple trees have or sugar maples, I should specify. Sugar maples have the highest concentrations of sugar. So technically you can tap any tree. It's just not going to taste as good as a maple. That's always weird. I never even knew that. You can make maple or syrup out of any tree. But just maple syrup's the one with the highest ratio of sugar. So that's why it's most common. And I think it was too. Suki's always sweet. Yeah, your advice always is, for sure. Now, I heard what it was is early explorers here too, when they didn't have a lot of spices, like didn't have a lot of garlic candy or curry or anything. So maple syrup was one of those things that was abundant, and people would use it to make other food taste a little better. Till we had more readily supplied. I think that was a poor people thing for a while too. If you were poor, it was like you put maple syrup on everything. And then I think that eventually switched to ketchup. Now, I always wanted to try making maple syrup, They said there's 2 ways. You can boil it off, or you could just put it on ice and let the sugar collect at the top. Or snow, something like that. I think my school went a few times, I always skipped that field trip. Or I just never got booked for it. I ended up watching videos on YouTube to find out. What I think I might like to try doing is buying organic honey from a local farmer, getting a whole bunch of like buckets of it, and then making my own booze by fermenting it into mead. Because apparently it works just as easily as wine, but the honey properties act as a disinfectant, so it makes it way less chances of it going bad. So if you're a beginner and it's the first time you've ever made wine, it makes it that much easier. Because when you make wine, you always run the risk that it'll go bad on you. But honey is a natural preservative, so if you're making wine from honey, it's way less chances to go bad. And a sweeter wine, depending on what percentage you make and what type of yeast you add. I don't know if I should really do that though, because if I have all I can drink booze and all I can smoke weed for free, it's gonna be the ultimate temptations. Especially I've tried mead a few times now and I really like it. I have a bottle saved for my birthday party even. This was stuff that I got from a world famous winery in Niagara. Yeah, I'm not sure what it makes the wine so good from that region. Maybe the temperatures. They get a lot of ice and snow. Ice wine. Like normally when it comes to booze, there's no point in making your own because you can just buy it for relatively the same price. But apparently mead's really easy to make and it's really expensive to buy. So it'd be one of those ones that would actually be worthwhile because you're making a lot of it and it's worth a lot. Yeah, and then when you make wine, you have to get grapes and sugar, but when you make it from honey, all you need is honey. Well, and the yeast. You don't have to add any sugar because honey already has plenty of that. It's like it's meant to be. The bees made it meant to be. Yeah, I can hardly wait for the next bounty hunter mission. That's one of my favorite ones. I'll have to keep trying that new experiment everyone was telling me about, the merchant. One time left. Alright, let's do it. Holy shit. Here I was thinking the show still had another 10 minutes to go and I checked and we're already over the hour mark. Alright, the show made it up to 4 likes. Thanks everybody. Now if anyone wants to come on the show via Skype or any other social media, just let me know. What is it? Zoom, Skype, Google Hangouts. There's quite a few that I got. You can promote your own YouTube channels or whatever else you're working on. Or just chat about the game too if you want. You don't have to be promoting anything. Alright, so I guess to wrap up the show before we go, I'll give a quick view of the left screen so we can check out all the messages that we got in the chat for today. Alright, we had messages from What's Up Q, Barney, Stinson, Suki, Alex, Joe, and is that all, Joe? Oh yeah, and Vector. Wow, so a big crowd again today. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to start doing the 2-hour shows maybe once I reach the, what is it called, the super chat functions. Because then, man, if I get a buck or two, that'll give me enough energy to keep going for hours. No, but even before then, because it might take me a while to reach it, so maybe for special occasions I'll do a 2-hour show. Maybe my birthday one, but I already got another big party to go to that day too. So I'm not sure. Maybe New Year's. New Year's would probably be a good... Maybe New Year's I'll do a special 2 hours. Because I'm pretty sure with New Year's they'll give us some extra events to do. So they'll have more content that I could stretch out over a 2-hour period. Try to keep all the chat more game related. Alright, oh yeah, on the wrong screen. Alright, so before we go to, we'll wrap up with a spin from the free Bitcoin casino. I'm at 135,976. Let's roll. 135,987. Woohoo! The other weird thing about that, I don't know if anyone heard, but I think Bitcoin apparently reached $18,000 US a Bitcoin today, which is another new high or something. So I was like, holy shit. So everyone, if you haven't joined up for free Bitcoin yet, it's probably a good time to start doing it. Or maybe it's a bad time because it's on a high. But I don't know, we'll see. Right, anyways, if you want to help out too, you can do it with Patreon, Society 6, Hideout TV, Swagbucks, GameKit, and free Bitcoin. And the virtual maid sex machine, that's for adults and men only. But if ladies need a sex machine, they know who to call. Just kidding. Unless you're near Toronto. But no, here's the virtual maid sex machine package. I've actually received one from the company now. So I can prove that it is a legit. And I'll probably open it one of these days. See how long the lockdown lasts. Alright, so yeah, let's see, wrap up the show. If you happen to get any of the rewards from the dungeon in your vaporizer, I'll have to do that too before we wrap up, is give the show a dislike. But if that doesn't happen and you can give the show a like, I really appreciate it. Just make sure you never buy the products from my sponsor, because it will ruin your life. Bye for now, everyone. Trying to see shit. Alright, thanks again for watching. I'll link 3 things at the end.